Okay, cool. Okay, so we've now so what you can do is you can add variables inside the template, so you can transclude it and then change it according to that page. Okay, and that's going to be, once we've done that, that's the bare minimum I think you need to know from Media Wiki to then be able to step up into the semantic media wiki area. Okay, but it's really important to get these basics because these are the building blocks for the next bit. Okay, so here's an example. This is a page warning template. Okay, so if I look at it inside, it's got, so there's a problem with this page. So essentially, if I just cut that away, so you say there's a problem with this page, but you may want the page to have you may want a better description of what the problem is. Okay, so I say there's a problem with the page. And I'm going to have it in bold again as well. So this is just bold text. The page is, and then those three squiggly brackets are the variable. Okay, so if you call this template, you can change that variable. So at present, the template will look like this. The page is whatever it is. Okay, so if I go to a new page and I'll call it incomplete page, I'll create that. Now if I just call the template, it's called page warning, I believe. Show preview. Okay, there's a problem with this page. Oh, it hasn't. Oh, I haven't saved that. Helps if I save. Okay, page is saved. So if I save this, hopefully. Okay, the page is whatever. Okay, if I wanted to change that variable, I put in detail or whatever was inside, and I put in complete. Oh yeah, I know why. Because I didn't put a pipe there. Ooh. Oh, double. Why do equals 2? Sorry, get into the computer program. Right. So this is can be really, really useful. Okay, so I've created a template. I've also created a variable inside that template, which I've called triple brackets detail. I've created another page. I've called up that template, and then I've assigned that variable a value just by saying pipe detail equals incomplete. So this is now, show preview, this has now put that there. But this can be anything. Inaccurate. It's now changed the page, so it's taken that template and it's changed that variable, and it changes that variable to anything that you want it to. So you now have this concept of the ability to transclude pages, but also the ability to assign variables inside that and change those according to the pages. So happy with that? Does that make sense in terms of because that's going to be a key fundamental thing in terms of when we grab the properties, because what we're going to do is we're going to create templates which assign properties, and then we assign those properties, so these values. So let's say So what we'll do is we'll look at the various people in the department. We'll think about what information we want about those people in that department. So whether it be how old they are, how long they've been working there, what their experience is. You will make it up. You can then change those variables. So you have this single template, which is a person template, employee template, whatever you want to call it. And then you can have things like height, experience, age, different things, whatever you want. You can then you can assign pictures to it. And you do that using this template, using a template, because then what that does is that standardizes the look and feel of every person page, or maybe the department. You create a template for the department, you create it for each of those departments, and you assign that information, the variables, according to that template. Happy with that? Excellent. I thought it'd be more painful. Okay, so really, I think we're now in a good position. I'll just look at the time. Yeah. So let's talk about properties. Okay. Stay on page. Let's save it. Fine. Save changes. Okay, sorry. Let's do this because this is important. Right. Let's go back to that template page. Template page warning. I think it's just web page warning. Okay. Okay, if this is your template, I wouldn't be overly happy with it, and I'll explain why. It's not necessarily clear how you would call this template. So, what I would say is, and actually when you create a template later, it creates generic test. So this is for page warnings. It can be called by page warning, so the pipe detail equals. Okay, so I save changes. What's the problem with this? So there's going to be two problems. One is that I had page incomplete, did I? I thought it was that. Okay, let's just create this because I can't remember the page. Okay, so I now call this page. I now call this template. Okay, so I've called this template onto another page, and it's now included all of this text. So if you remember what I talked about before, what we need to do now is work out. We need to put some tags there, whether it's no include, include only, or whichever one, to make sure that when we transclude the page, only the bit that we want transcluded. So it's always good to have a description of what the template is, but you have to be aware that, of course, you may transclude that onto another page. So include only, I think. I'm trying to remember. We'll soon work out if I've got it wrong. And then / include only. So we're not doing any media markup, HTML markup, but the tag starts with those two, I don't know what you call them, arrows, and you close it off with a /. Okay, so if I show preview here, okay, So that looks okay, apart from something else, but I'll change that in a sec. If I go to this page, save changes, it's still transcluding that. So what is, let's remind myself, my lovely diagram. Cancel, it wasn't that. Templates, basic formatting, what was that one, sorry, apologies. Right, so let's go for no include. Okay, that's a better way of doing it, I think. So if I edit here, what I'll actually do is no include, and I'll wrap that around the initial text, which is describing what you're doing. I'm just going to get rid of those. So hopefully what should happen is this text inside here is not transcluded. It is only this bit in here which is transcluded as a template. On to the next one. I didn't close it off because I can't spell. There we go. Include. Excellent. Yes, okay. There's another problem with this. What I've done is I've essentially, so I've created a no include, so it says this bit don't include in the template. But what have I done here? I've actually called the template inside the template. So the way you make the media markup language not work is you put it inside a pre brackets like that. So that means everything inside there won't be actioned upon, it will just be displayed as text for the user. So I save that change. So it says this text, so this is what I want to see. So it says what the template's for, how you call it. So that's how you call the template, and then it has also how you change the variable. So the detail equals variable. Okay, so if I refresh this page, page warning, save changes. Okay, so, and there you go. Now I haven't assigned a variable, so it's just written out the variable of that page. So there's two ways of doing this. If you think mostly, okay, yeah, edit. This variable, if you don't assign it a value, it's just going to show that detail, which looks a bit confusing. If you look at this page, sorry. If you look at this page, the page is double brackets detail. That doesn't mean anything to anybody. If you know the majority of the time what the value is going to be, you put a pipe in here and you say incomplete. And that means if a value isn't assigned, that's the value it will give it. Okay? So because I haven't assigned a value here, it will fill that in with incomplete. It should fill that in with incomplete. No. Have I not changed? I haven't saved that. How's that? Helps you save it, Ben. Edit. I'll just go edit, save that, just refreshes it. There we go. Whew. I suddenly thought I did something wrong there. Okay, so I haven't assigned it a value, so therefore it is taken the default value which we've assigned in the template as incomplete. So I would strongly suggest when you create templates that you do have a description of it and how you actually call it. So you can see here, you know, and the beauty of that is you can just copy and paste that and put that into the new page. And obviously if it's a complex template with lots and lots of variables, the great thing is you can do that. Now I know this code looks a little bit daunting to those who maybe, okay, so if you ignore this bit, So this bit here is just giving it the background color. It's aligning the text in the middle. The rest of it is standard. The bold, this is bold writing. Actually, you can make anything. You can either do this the three quote marks, or you select it and the editor, and you may have a more modern editor. We were discussing actually earlier that I was supposed to be using another hosting, but I made a mistake last night, and so I couldn't assign people accounts. So I've gone to Refrata. It is very old, but it's still not a bad sort of platform. But the editor here is really out. Quite a lot out of date. So, but most times what you'll try and do is you'll present this to people who have a simple editor to actually create that. So okay, so I've shown you there a template, and obviously we've made it a little bit flash with the red background. I've shown you how you can write text above it to describe it, and then I've shown how you assign a variable to it and how you can then transclude it onto another page and then change that variable according to what you want that page. And of course, your mind should be going in overdrive now, going, wait a minute, you could do this and change that. That this starts to create all sorts of possibilities. And of course, what we're going to move on to next is properties. So we talked all the way back at the beginning about structured data. This will now enable you to assign structured or create structured data within your wiki, which you can then search from. So the next bit we'll look on, I think after lunch, is properties. And so now we'll be getting into the beginning bits of SMW. So I'm sorry that was quite extensive, but if you don't have those, I found if you don't have those basics of MediaWiki, it's very difficult to build off that platform. And I know there's a lot of code here you might see and so on, but it is important to understand understand those little bits of what you're seeing. Cool. Any questions before we? I think pizza. Did you say? Sounds good. No, everybody's thinking about pizza. Good. Thank you.